This prologue serves as bonus content for our Patreon subscribers, separate from the main campaign. The YouTube video you're about to watch is a 30-minute preview. For the full episode, subscribe to our Patreon for just $5 a month. Enjoy the adventure. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the prologue episode of Tales from Cazilor, the Golden Era. This is the prologue to the main campaign, Tales from Cazilor, Golden Era, which is a prequel series to the album, Tales from Cazilor. Are we tracking? Are we all tracking?
Double prequel.
Double prequel. Now, this is an audio...
Gotta love audio. Wow.
Wow.
God damn it.
This is an audio-only episode, Patreon exclusive, so if you're listening to this, thank you for your support. This is all bonus content for you, for your support. Now, the album, the Tales from Cazilor album, is not required listening, but I do promise things will make a lot more sense if you do go give it a listen. Or at the very least, listen to the first track. There is a very lovely monologue delivered by Elizabeth N. that describes the world in a very concise manner.
It's also good music. I will plug Nathan's album.
Thank you.
It's good music, and you should listen to it.
Thank you. And for everybody keeping track out there, the year of this prologue episode is 221 AA. For reference, the album takes place in 258 AA. 37 years before the time of the album and 12 years before the start of the campaign. We start this prologue story in, obviously, the land of Cazilor, nestled in the forest and mountains of Calum Heights at the Masmus Training Academy, the one and only place to become a knight and be able to fight for your people against the giants of Atraria, the land to the east, which is of course ruled by the nefarious Toltag. You might recognize that name. Only the best of the best get into this military school. And as we soar into the campus grounds, we see humans and giants alike across wide expanses of training grounds. It looks like a strange combination of a medieval military base and like a college campus. You see multiple lecture halls, but you also see recruits practicing their horseback riding and another group practicing archery. And of course, you see giants, but not giants that want humans dead, like the Atrarians. These giants come from the land of Estersal, to the west, ruled by the noble Ginsi. They fight for the humans' right to live, even though they don't have to. Now, the Academy is always hustling and bustling with the next generation of protectors and heroes of all sizes. And some of these heroes are about to graduate. And as we peek into one of many lecture halls, we see a woman giving a speech to about 16 people. This woman is known as Professor Leslie Day. Blonde, with a ponytail, wearing a button-up and some dress pants. And she goes, "All right, Serpent Squad, as you all might have expected, your final exam in leadership class is not an exam at all. Think for a moment. How are you supposed to learn how to be a leader by just writing about it? You can't. And here's why." And as she rambles on, we see two men sitting next to each other in the classroom at the Masmus Training Academy. Matt, if you would like to describe your character and your friend.
My character's name is Adrien Asher. I think as he's sitting in this lecture hall, listening to him talk, or listening to the professor talk, nothing about him immediately stands out at this point. He is a very sort of like reserved, kind of like just normal looking man. He's wearing, is there a uniform at this?
General training like attire is just basically like a white tank top and some baggy pants.
Yeah, then he's definitely wearing that. He looks very much like he definitely upheld the rules, didn't go too, far beyond that to make himself look like the perfect soldier or anything. I would say he is probably more notably muscular than his sort of attitude would suggest. He's very reserved, very calm, but clearly buff. I assume he has his gear on him, right?
Yeah.
Then he would have his anchoring gear on him, and you can kind of tell from the sides of his anchoring gear that is his role, and that is something that he clearly puts a lot of attention into. He has, short hair, nothing fancy, just very, very standard military stuff here. But as he's listening to the professor, you kind of see his face fall just a little bit. However, the guy standing next to him has a very opposite vibe. This is his friend Asher. Asher, in contrast to his friend in pretty much all things, his uniform is definitely dirty. There are some stains on there that might possibly be blood. No one's 100% sure. Not in a scary way, not like a fighting, but just in the sense of like, he's probably done some reckless stuff, gotten himself into a couple of scrapes, maybe jumped off a few, bridges and hit some rocks going into the water and didn't clean himself up well enough. His hair is a little bit messier, and his expression is, I would say, going in an exact opposite direction to Adrian's. As Adrian's face is falling, had the fact that he's going to have to do something more, Asher's is going up. He's like, hell yeah, I don't actually have to do boring things. I get to go out and work in the field. And Asher has climbing gear on him.
Yeah. Actually, on that note, as Professor Leslie Day is rambling on, Asher kind of like nudges you in the side and goes, "Yo, no way, she's doing it! I told you about this." And
yeah, I was hoping you were kidding.
No, this is going to be great. Professor Leslie Day continues, "All that being said, I've decided that your final assignment, you are tasked with being camp counselors this week at the Masmus summer camp. Because if you ever wish to become a captain or a high blade or even a commander, with my teaching skills, it's no doubt that it's possible, you better believe having your own squad is going to feel like looking after a bunch of idiot kids. Groan all you want, but you'll thank me later. I expect to see you all there tomorrow, bright and early. The kids will get there at noon. You are dismissed." And all the recruits, your fellow squad mates in Serpent Squad, you all take classes together, train together, you do everything together. Get up out of their seats and start leaving. Notably, Asher is having confirmed his suspicions, even more excited. As you walk out of class, he's like, "Dude, this is going to be great. Why do you look so upset?"
As they're leaving, before even answering the question, Adrien turns to him and goes, "Am I going to have to wake you up like usual, or are you excited enough to actually care today?"
You will definitely have to wake me up. I am not going to be going to sleep anytime soon. But listen, it's not going to be that bad, okay? It's a daycare. Whatever. Look, I was in Colossus Keep, the one I got in a fight at. Anyways, after the fight... You're going to have to
be more specific. I've gotten you out of several of those.
All right, so it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3.
Anyways, I there for that? You didn't tell me about that.
No, okay, the date doesn't matter. Look, I was talking to some hunky knights at the tavern in Colossus Keep. They told me about this camp. They had Professor Leslie Day. They told me about this camp counselor project she does. Sounds like a drag. I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. Just like you. Then, get this. Sun's out. It's a daycare. Boo. But as soon as nighttime hits, apparently it turns into a big fucking party. I'm talking drinks, games, which could lead to who knows what else. You might finally get laid. This is so big for us. This is so huge.
The continued pattern, I think, of their expressions going in opposite directions, as he was talking, that divide just grows. He's just...
Oh my gosh, I gotta send a letter to my little brother. He'll be there. I'm gonna pull some strings, call him some favors. I'll get some alcohol. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
He turns around to see we're I assume 5 steps from the door to the room where the professor is. You just said, don't. Oh, if you're going to do it, don't say it.
Sorry. Look, I got horse stables to clean ever since my last fight. Anyways, I'll meet up with you in the morning.
Adrien kind of gives him a little bit of a salute, and he does smile. Clearly, again, he's exasperated about this, but they are clearly friends.
Yeah.
And then I assume from there they go their separate ways to meet up in the morning.
So we now travel to a rinky-dink little town called Farage. It's a little forest town just west of the Calum Heights mountain range, at the crossroads of Boulder Boulevard and Emerald Drive. We're going to do some weird time stuff, so this isn't all happening on the same day. But it is the morning right now, The sun is rising. We see a smokestack coming from a little cottage. There's a vegetable garden. There's a single horse tied up outside. And as we enter in through the door,
it's a warm morning. We have my parents making breakfast, Dad at the stove, Mom sitting next to the coffee, which she finished making maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. And I'm sitting there at the table, breakfast supplies. What do they call those things? the
plates?
Sorry.
Breakfast supplies.
Silverware?
Yeah, your breakfast supplies. You ever had breakfast supplies? It's called a plate, a
utensils.
Placemat. Thank you. Utensils. That's the word I was looking for.
Breakfast supplies.
Off to a great start. Utensils in hand. This is Winnie. She's in her little camp uniform, so excited to go. Her locks tied up in a tight ponytail, probably like fidgeting in her seat, and also so excited for camp, because what else could a kid want other than to go to camp?
Correct. And as your father finishes making the delicious homemade flapjacks, he brings them over to the table and notices your attire and goes, "You look ready to go."
I am. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you guys let me go to this. I know it took a lot of convincing. I didn't stop talking about it for at least 3-4 weeks, and I'm so excited to go. Can't wait to go.
I wouldn't say I'm fully convinced yet. Did you water the garden?
Of course.
Did you feed the horse?
Yeah.
Did you brush your teeth?
No, I haven't had breakfast yet.
He kind of squints and hands you your flapjacks and goes, "All right, right after you finish this, I want to see you in that bathroom and brushing really good. 2 minutes at least."
She's already halfway done. like really slamming these flapjacks back. It's like, slow down. You're gonna throw up, kid.
And your mom probably does do that. It's like, "Quit eating like a farm animal, Winnie. You're gonna get a stomachache, and we have a long carriage ride ahead of us."
I'm just eating like Cinnamon.
Is Cinnamon the horse?
That's the horse. The horse.
Speaking of Cinnamon, darling, your mother turns to your dad. "Don't forget to go to the neighbor. We're going to have to borrow his carriage in order to get Winnie down to the camp." He goes, "Oh, right, of course. I'll head over there right now." And he goes out to do that. As he's leaving, he's like, "Don't forget to brush. We're going to be leaving in like 15 minutes.
Like, she does that like kid thing where they just like put toothpaste all over the head of the toothbrush, and it's just like, is it even getting in your mouth? Because like it's all over your face. It's just like real fast, the fastest toothbrush you could ever see. That's not 2 minutes. It's like maybe 20 seconds.
And with that, we leave Winnie's household. And we fly, not far, but a decent ways to the northwest, not in a rinky-dink town, but to the big city, the city of Opulo. This is the largest city in Cazilor. It is the capital of Cazilor. There are various apartments, multiple levels high. Streets are hustling and bustling. Lights are always on. It's the evening at the time that we are arriving at this establishment. And we go into one of these apartments. It's a very nice apartment, I'd say. A 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. However, it is a bit small for a family of 6. Especially when all the kids have to sleep in one room because the other 2 rooms are taken up by the parents and the parents' fancy clothes. In one of these rooms, the one where all the kids sleep, we see a little boy playing alone.
This little boy, 6 years old, with blue eyes and, at this point, just white hair in a bowl cut, is Argentum Scritori, Argy, to his buds. And he considers it playing. Most kids wouldn't, because I think in his room, Argy is writing in a notebook.
And what might Argy possibly be journaling about at such a young age?
At the top of the notebook, it says, "Argy's investigation," and there's a line under it. The first bullet point says, "Grandpa says, when people are sad, there's always a reason. And good investigator finds out why. Mama's been sad recently, and I bet the reason's somewhere in this house.
As Argy is getting to the bottom of this hot case of why his mother is sad, through the door we can hear that your grandpa is over and is talking to your parents. And suddenly the door to the bedroom bursts open, and your sister of the same age, we call her Ari, or Arum Scritori, bursts in with your little brother, Adam, or Adamus Scritori. And she's holding him by the forearm and throws him into the room and says, "Stay in here! Argy, can you play with him? He keeps pulling my hair."
Yeah, I could play with him. And he puts his pen and notepad down.
Ari kind of tosses you, your little brother, he's only like 4, tosses you him and says, "Stay in here and don't bother me anymore." And even before she can leave, you hear your mother call out, "Argy, could you just come in here, please?"
Argy, without another word, picks up his pen and notebook and gives Adam a sympathetic look, but he's 6. He doesn't have the know-how to deal with this right now, and he just got called by his mother.
And as you and your sister walk out into the living room, which is attached sort of open style to the kitchen, you notice, as I said before, that your grandpa is over talking to your parents while your older brother, Cooprum Scritori, aka Cooper, is doing the dishes.
Argy's mother seems weary. It's very clear that the grandpa is the dominant personality in their life. So Argy's mother is confident but weary, and his father is sheepish and guilty-looking in the gaze of his grandfather, because he is the business tycoon behind Cazilor's largest publishing firm. Is that it? Or
largest, what would it be called? Printing press?
Printing press.
Or something like that. A newspaper company. The Daily Paper. By the way, didn't run this by you, but in my head, I've been calling it the Daily Scrits. So,
can I approve that on Mike's behalf?
If you like the Daily Scrits, then...
Whenever he thinks the company's doing poorly, Grandpa calls it the drizzling scrits.
That's fantastic.
The Daily Shits was right there. It was right there.
Well, I think that was the bit. I think that was the bit that's not that.
Anyways, so you walk out. Your grandpa is a dominating presence in the space. He's the kind of guy that doesn't quite understand taking turns in conversation. When he has something to say, he says it, because it's clearly the most important thing that needs to be said. And so you see he is boasting as usual. He's like, "Oh, I tell you, the papers are selling so well lately thanks to the war picking back up again. I hate these dull periods. Really bad. I got to start writing about local tragedies. It just doesn't sell as well. Now, tell you what, there's this big event going on, Kragora. You got to be there. All the higher-ups are going to be there. You go down to Cristiano's, get whatever you want. Tell them to invoice me. I'll always take care of you, sweetie, but you do have to be there because it'll look good for the company." And you see your mom and your dad are just kind of like, "Yes, of course. Thank you, Dad. You've already gotten us so many wonderful clothes. Are you sure that we need more?" And Grandpa's like, "You can't wear the same thing twice in this world. When are you going to understand that? The minute you wear the same thing twice is the minute our entire credibility just goes down the toilet. Now, like I said, head over to Cristiano's and head out there. Argy, Ari, my 2 favorite kiddos." And he comes and he kneels down, gives you both a hug, one in each arm at the same time. And he says, "Your mother has some very exciting news for you. I think you'd love to hear it. Go ahead, darling." And your mother kind of is like, "Yes, so as you probably just heard, kids, me and your father have to go to a very important event in Kragora that we simply can't miss. But lucky for us, there is an event going on at the same time. There's a Masmus summer camp going on. It's only a week, so you won't be gone for long. And I heard from my friend Claire, and of course from your grandpa, that all the Masmus moms send their kids to this camp. And so it's 6 and up, which means you're finally old enough to go. And so that's where you will be going. Doesn't that sound fun?
Are we gonna learn about doing war stuff?
Oh, I'm sure you'll learn quite a lot, sweetie. I hear they have giant scarecrows to climb with wooden climbing axes and archery and fishing and all kinds of cool stuff you can do with your sister.
I'm gonna get to write about so many cool people. It's gonna be like in your paper, Grandpa. I'm gonna be like the writers in there. I've been writing a lot more, actually. Would you like to read it?
Maybe some other time, kid, but you're absolutely right. You're gonna get some great Masmus skills in you. I think you got what it takes. The last thing you want to do is end up like Cooper over there. Isn't that right, Coop? And you see Cooper just kind of gives a side eye. Actually, give me an insight.
All right.
Give me an insight.
That doesn't seem fair.
You can
That
roll
was a
with...
natural 20.
Oh!
First roll of Cazilor.
And
Nat
it's a
20.
natural 20.
That's a good sign.
With a natural 20, I'm giving you the whole scoop. All right?
Okay. The scoop on Coop.
Your older brother is about 10. He is not blessed. And a while ago, he went to, maybe a year or two ago, he went to go work with his grandpa at the printing press. And based on the slight context clues that you're picking up with your incredible detective work, apparently it's pretty miserable. He doesn't really... He used to make a lot of jokes, but now, especially with the grandpa around, he just zips his lip. He knows grandpa doesn't want to hear it. And nat 20, grandpa doesn't like Cooper, if that wasn't obvious. And with a nat 20, you can presume it's because he's not blessed. I wouldn't normally tell you that because you're only 6, and that's kind of a complex social dynamic, but you really just cracked the case on this one. Because he's not blessed, Grandpa really has no interest in your older brother. Grandpa goes on and is just like, you really got what it takes. See, Cooper's going to be washing dishes and working at the printer press the rest of his life. You have so many lucrative options for career choice, and your older brother will be happy to support you doing all of that. Isn't that right, Cooper? And Cooper just goes, yep. Of course, Gramps. That's what I'm talking about. So are you excited?
So many things have gone through this child's mind in a short amount of time.
Look at it. He's shocked with excitement. He can't even speak. He's speechless. I'd do anything for you, kiddo.
Yeah, I'm nothing like Cooper. Yeah.
Grandpa gets up off his knees and goes, all right, I have more work to do as always. Darling, I'll see you later. And he gives his daughter a hug, and he gives the father a handshake, and is on his merry way. A little bit later in the evening, your parents haven't left yet. They're leaving tomorrow. You're leaving tomorrow. Your grandpa's going to take you to the camp. You're all sleeping in the same room. You know, the lights are out, and you got like a double bunk bed situation going on. And Cooper, as he comes to bed, or as he's in bed, is a little restless and just kind of speaks out of the blue, just goes, hey, you guys up?
Yeah.
And Ari also speaks up and goes, what, Cooper? And Cooper goes, look, have fun at the Masmus camp, all right? It's fun. I've been there, but just be sure don't do anything that would embarrass the family, all right? Just behave.
Behave like what? Cause you behave how we do, and Grandpa's still real mean to you.
Ari speaks up. That's because Cooper's bad. That's what Grandpa says. Cooper's bad because he failed, and people who fail are bad. And that's why Mom and Dad make him do chores.
Well, it just doesn't seem fair. I mean, What did you fail at?
Well, RG, I just didn't live up to expectations, I guess. But it's all good. I'm really good at cleaning the dishes. And it's kind of fun. Yeah. It's all right. Just make sure you don't do anything dumb. And again, Ari speaks up. We won't do anything bad because we're not like you, Cooper. And Cooper kind of snaps and goes, well, maybe you are. And maybe when you go work for Grandpa and find out you're just like me, you'll be doing dishes too.
So, if we do something bad, Grandpa won't like us anymore. Like you?
Yes, RG. Like me. And at this point, Adam speaks up. Guys, you're being really loud. Is it morning? What time is it?
It's okay, Adam.
Okay, Coop, I think you're great. You play sticks with me, and that's fun. Go to sleep, Adam. Thank you. And with that, we pull away from the Scritori residence. We go not too far away. We still remain in Opulo, the capital of Cazilor. Now, at first glance, you might have assumed that the Scritoris live a relatively, nice lifestyle. But where we're headed is farther to the north of the city, where the truly, truly wealthy people live. As we come into the scene, we see what looks like a small castle made of stone, 2 stories tall, huge yard, at least a couple acres, a private pond, a small livestock farm being tended to by workers. There is a decorated carriage ready to be pulled by 2 thoroughbred horses just sitting out front as the horses are also being tended to by yet another worker. And as we peek in through these large hand-carved wooden double doors, you have all wood floors, paintings on all the walls, an exquisite chandelier lighting up the foyer, 2 curved staircases on either side of the room that lead up to the second floor. You look to the left and there's a kitchen with a chef hard at work. You look to the right, there's a living room with a fireplace and various plants from all over the wild. And this is just the rooms you can see at the entrance. However, this large house does feel mostly empty.
My character would be probably in his specific room, which I would imagine is bigger than my apartment.
Yeah.
Quietly writing and reading things from just a personal library, writing down in his journal as he can. My character at the age of 14, he's not a very tall person ever, so like sub 5 feet right now, and he gets a little over that as he gets older.
He'll get there.
Kind of ocean blue eyes and black, longer hair. Again, he's rich, so probably fairly well kept, pulled back at his face. He looks very much like what you would expect a young royal to look like, or a young noble to look like.
Now, you're in your room, you're reading, you're journaling, minding your business. Of course, your room has everything you could ever want in it. You've probably gotten anything you've ever asked for, even stuff you didn't ask for, you've gotten. Suddenly, your dad walks in. Now, your dad currently right now is just wearing like a button-up and some baggy pants. But notably, he has large brown wings sprouting from his back. But, all of the doors in this house are extremely tall to accommodate that. And I
got an ADA accessible mansion.
He's a big guy. These wings are big enough for him to fly with. And his button-up is custom sewn to have holes for the wings to come through, the whole 9 yards. And he comes in and leaves the door open and says, Hey, kiddo, and kind of sits beside you.
Shit, how do I play a person with a good dad? Hey, what's up?
All right. So, look, kid, I got bad news. You know how I said we had plans this week to go Leviathan fishing together in the Thassadine Sea?
You have something to do, don't you?
Yeah, look, there's a huge event going on in Kragora. It's Masmus stuff.
Listen, I understand. I get it. This is not the first time, won't be the last. It's totally okay.
Listen, I'm sorry, kid.
Thank you.
But look, there is a bright side. Around this same time, the Masmus summer camp is starting. You love the Masmus summer camp, right?
Yeah. Dad, don't worry about it. It's okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, it'll be a blast. Go do you stuff. I'll have a blast no matter what. We'll go fishing when you get back.
And we will. And I promise. I know you don't think my promises mean much, but I promise it's only a week. So as soon as you get back, Lockheed will take you there. Lockheed will pick you up. Yep. And when you get back, we are hitting the Thassadine Sea. I can taste the salt water already.
Absolutely. I'm going to hold you to that. And I'm going to catch something at camp just to show you that I can.
I'm counting on it. All right. Your mother will be in soon to say goodbye as well. We have to leave tonight. Again, I will make it up to you.
I'm sure you will.
Your dad gets up, his huge muscular body, and leaves, closes the door behind him to pull on Abria Iyengar. What you don't see is on the other side of the door, as the door closes, we see your dad sigh. And we hear your mother's voice. She goes, I think that went really well. He's like, I don't know. Did you see his face? I feel like he looked disappointed. And suddenly in the space beside your father, the light begins to bend and warp and turn into a humanoid form that your mother appears into. And she has crystals embedded in her skin in a formation that's symmetrical, growing out of her almost like scales. She has her hand on your father's shoulder, and she goes, I was with you the whole time, dear. I saw you did the best that you could. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. And your dad says, I think we have to start saying no to these events, darling. We're just missing so much. I know, dear. And I agree. Go get dressed. I gotta say goodbye. And your dad leaves. Your mother comes in. Lockheed right behind to help you pack. And as we pull away, we hear your mother, saying, oh, we're gonna miss you, da-da-da, da-da-da. Giving you
the usual goodbye.
The usual
stuff.
Goodbye. You're used to it. It'll only be a week. It won't be that long. We're going to be right over in Kragora, just a city over, yada, yada, yada. As Lockheed packs your bags.
Yeah. The look on my face is very much more akin to, like, when's the last time a week has been a week?
Right.
Sure. Like, yeah, I get it. I'll go to the summer camp. So I'm not in the house, so you don't have to think about it. I understand.
And with that, we flash forward to the day that everyone arrives to the summer camp. But unfortunately not for you, because this is where our 30-minute preview ends. If you want to catch the full prologue episode, you can find it exclusively on the D&Dorks Patreon. The first episode of Tales from Cazilor, The Golden Era will have its live recording on Twitch on May 24th and will be uploaded to all podcasting platforms on May 29th. We hope to see you there.